Yes, this is a thing, and this will always be a thing, because it exists. Hooray. The golden age of Call of Duty ended with the release of Black Ops 2 in 2012, and I guess the release of COD Ghosts in 2013. And let's just say, nobody really enjoyed that game. But after Ghosts, we got this very weird era of gaming known as the Enhanced Movement Fiasco. We had Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, then skipping a year, Black Ops 4. This is coming off of the tails of successes like Titanfall and other games like Halo trying to copy its success. But I did skip over a game for a reason, because it's nothing like the other games in its era. Call of Duty World War II. Now, the idea of boots on the ground was a very good one, and a popular consensus from the community at the time. I mean, all you really have to do is look at the Infinite Warfare dislike bar to see that people didn't really want it, that they wanted something different. So, Activision told Sledgehammer Games to stop whatever they were doing and make boots on the ground gameplay. A story they did twice, also leading to one of the most disliked games I think I've ever had the pleasure to see in Call of Duty Vanguard. World War II's campaign is the safest campaign in the series, and unfortunately for them, that's a check in the minus column. You want the game to be world at war so bad that it's painful at some points. It follows the story of Daniels, or Red, or whatever, your normal everyday soldier fighting on the Eastern Front alongside his stereotypical cookie-cutter squad. Instead of a second faction, we get the entire campaign with this group, meaning that the entire campaign is America versus German. As someone who's recently played the older titles, I've come to appreciate the vast number of stories you can actually tell in this time period. But I never found Daniel's squad interesting outside of Turner, who dies a pretty sad death. I really don't care for him and Zussman's bromance, or the nerd, or that other guy. What I did like from this campaign was the twist on the villain. Most modern Call of Duty campaigns have an antagonist, most likely Russian, thanks Modern Warfare, but we've gotten Makarov to Rourke to Menendez, and outside of the obvious villain of World War II, Pearson isn't so much an antagonist, but an antagonistic force that is always butting heads with Daniels. In saying that, I did really like his portrayal, and I really think the actor did as much as he could with it. Surprisingly, it also gave a throwback to the original Call of Duty with its health system. There is no regenerating health. If you take damage, you have to go grab a med pack from Zussman or somewhere else scattered on the battlefield. The entire team gives you abilities like ammo or seeing people or grenades, and it's really just a great way to implement this cast into different situations and having different people at different times. I just wish that the cast was interesting enough to follow. In totality, it's a bottom tier campaign, sadly, and I would only truly play it if you want to watch one of the many over-the-top action bits that this game throws at you. Alright, let's watch the train scene one more time. World War II's multiplayer is painfully boring. I tried to hype myself up with my friends before we actually played the game, and I couldn't. Especially after playing World at War's multiplayer again recently, which, surprisingly, still has a player base. One of World War II's many problems is that it tried to follow so many trends that were popular at the time, like loot boxes, for example, and although those are completely egregious to today's standards, or any standard I mind you, that topic has been nailed to death. The social space is where this game, I think, loses it for me. The beachhead is really just a copy of Destiny's Tower, and it's kinda hard to unsee. What sucked about it at launch is that you were forced to come here to open up loot crates, to accept bounties. It was such an important issue that Sledgehammer basically made the beachhead completely irrelevant. making one of your most marketable features a side menu in a side menu is not a recipe for success. Although I believe World War II is one of the best looking Call of Duties, it plays terribly. Every single map is 3 lanes, and that's it. Maybe a turret if you're lucky, but don't push your luck. The multiplayer uses a token unlock system, along with a normal standard leveling system like games of old, which I didn't hate. I think it was a good thing to balance what kind of Ghosts brought, but I didn't really end up spending points. I kind of just ended up using the M1 Grand for my entire playthrough here. A lot of recent COD multiplayers have been let's just say, to be nice, a forgettable experience. And it's kind of sad to say that World War II falls in this category. At least we got to have some fun building the bridge. That was the only reason I was able to get other people to actually play this game, by the way. And we didn't even get to build the bridge, so another point off, I guess. Both Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer have taken swings at bat doing a third mode that could be as popular as Treyarch Zombies. And unfortunately for them, the closest they got was MW3 Survival, yet we're not talking about MW3, are we? Exo Zombies was forgettable, and there was no base map on disc, and Infinite Warfare Zombies started with a god-tier map with Spaceland, then fumbled hard with its momentum. So how did Sledgehammer do with their second run around? We played a few games on the final Reich, and I didn't hate it. We quit to go play Black Ops 2, but I didn't really hate my time on the game, which is something I think Exo Zombies doesn't have the pleasure of that compliment. My friend Alan and I were completely taken off guard by the jump scares, the sprinters, and that giant guy. My buddy Joe walked us through the entire map. I always like doing objectives in games, but with zombies I feel like it's always meant to be turn off your brain and just have fun. That's why we constantly go back to town. I didn't really pay much attention to the quest outside of the well bursting up and jumping down in the facility. A really good positive actually was being able to choose your character. I think that's a fantastic idea, and it's a good way to implement the 4 playable characters and operators together, which the next Call of Duty Zombies game should implement, but they won't because operators make too much money. Outside of that though, it was just kind of your standard zombies map, and I think that's a pretty good compliment for the Final Reich. Nobody wanted this game. The developers didn't want it, nor the fanbase. When they said they wanted a more traditional Call of Duty experience, they were talking about games from the Golden Age, a more modern look, not going back to World War II for the first time in a decade. I bet you if Activision didn't step in, we would have seen Advanced Warfare 2 either in this slot or Vanguard slot, but I guess that's all in the past now. And all we're left with is Call of Duty World War II, the embodiment of Train Go Boom. Who would have thought that Black Ops 3 line would actually be a reference to the World War II campaign? Jason Blundell does it again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy what I do, maybe consider checking out some of my other stuff. Thank you so much.